Hi guys, it's Emily from Doe Deer Nursery. I hope you're all doing well and having a wonderful week. And I wanted to quickly do a video today about being a reborn artist and frustrations I have encountered as a reborn artist that have made me consider wanting to no longer offer custom orders. Now I know this is kind of going to be a bit more serious or touchy of a subject, so, forgive me if it takes me some time to kind of process my thoughts and get out what I'm saying. I haven't really planned this video or thought out specifically what I'm going to say or anything like that. It's going to be more off the cuff, and I'm going to be working on some neutralizing painting as I talk. But yeah, so it's just something that's been on my mind for a while. I've really debated whether or not I should even make a video about this. Because I want to preface it by saying that this video is not going to be referencing any one person in particular. My intention is absolutely never to call anyone out, embarrass anyone, hurt anyone's feelings. That's the last thing I ever want to do. I also want to say too, of course, I'm completely grateful to each and every one of my clients because they are the reason, I have the opportunity to make some of these beautiful babies. And I appreciate the trust and care that they give to me by allowing me to create these special babies for them. So again, really I have a heart full of gratitude for my clients. I'm not calling anyone out in particular. This video is just going to be talking more about my cumulative experience offering custom orders, which I believe I've been doing custom reborn orders for about 1.5 years now. So this is just, from the time I started till now, my cumulative experience and just a few frustrations I encounter. So a custom order baby, to me, with my services, is when a client contacts me, they have a particular kit that they want to have reborn. They have specific details in mind that I allow them to pick. I feel like I'm generally very inclusive in how much of the process I allow my clients to customize. I feel like some reborn artists only allow clients to pick like skin tone and hair color and eye color, and that's about it. And in terms of all kind of the painting details and things like that, that's really up to the artist. In my experience, I pretty much let my clients customize every aspect, skin tone, how, newborn realistic they look in terms of like how heavily modeled they are versus if they're more peaches and cream. I let them pick birthmarks, freckles, hair color, hair type, hairstyle, eyelash color, eyebrow color. I mean, pretty much every little detail I involve my clients in. So of course, that means these babies are very, very customized to how the client wants, which is, to me, the point of a custom order. So I'd say my first and foremost frustration of doing custom reborns is what I kind of call the slave mentality, that your reborn artist is your slave to be at your beck and call and do what you want, when you want, and how you want it. And this refers to painting as well as communication. So in regards to communication, something I've experienced quite often in the past are clients sending me constant messages at all hours of the day, which is, I understand people have questions, and of course I want to address them. That's fine. But what becomes frustrating is when there are multiple messages per day, especially kind of late at night or really, really early in the morning, because I do get notifications on my phone, so I hear every time someone sends me a message or something. And then when people don't get an immediate response and I start getting messages like, hello, will you answer me? Have you seen this message? that gets really frustrating because, like I said, I get the notification on my phone. I see that someone sent me a message, and let's say I'm, at my other job, my office job, or I'm out for the evening. I'm out, with friends or to dinner or running errands or doing whatever it is I'm doing in my daily life. I'll quickly just check the message to see what it is, to see if it's dire or immediate or super important. Usually it's not. Usually it's just a basic Reborn question. And so I'll set my phone back down with the intention that later, when I have the time, I will answer the client's questions. So when I get messages like, why aren't you answering me? I know you've seen this message. I find that really frustrating because I am not a slave at someone's beck and call. Just because you message me immediately right now, want an answer, doesn't mean I'm available to answer it immediately. I also find too that even if I am sitting down and painting, and I am kind of in my Reborn studio world, that by taking the time to step away and sit down at my computer and answer the messages, it's actually taking away time from the real work of working on your Reborn doll. I can't sit here and do what I'm doing right now if I am answering constant messages. So I think, there are other solutions to that. That reason alone is not a reason to completely stop doing customs. I just want my, future clients to understand that, please allow me 24 hours to respond to your message. I've had people suggest that I set certain hours to be like, you can message me at this time with questions and inquiries. But I think the difficulty with that for me would be that I'm not always reborning or available at the computer at the same time every day or every week. Right now it's about 11 o'clock, 11:30, and I'm reborning, and maybe tomorrow I'll be starting at 9. Some days I, have other things to do in the morning, and so I don't have the opportunity to reborn until 2. So that makes it a little difficult. And sometimes if I am laying in bed in the evening and I, have some spare time, I'll answer questions then. I just don't want people to think that it's appropriate and okay to message me at all hours and that they deserve an immediate response. I am a Reborn artist, that is my job, but it's not my whole life. And if you, let's say, you work at, I don't know, you work at a real estate office and you're receiving text messages from one of your clients at 11:30 at night, you're off. You're not at work then, and you would feel like, well, I am not required to answer this person's question right now. I'm off, and they can, leave me a message and I'll get back to them when I am back to my working hours. So that is one really big frustration. And I think the way to kind of remedy that is just from the get-go, like I said, let clients know to give me 24 hours to answer your questions, and that messages like, hello, answer me right now, where are you? Those will be completely ignored because that's just inappropriate behavior. And I think to please limit your questions. I guess that's hard to say because of course I want to answer every single question that someone has. I want to make sure they have all the information possible, but it takes a lot of time to answer 10 questions, to type out a long answer, detailed answer per question for 10 questions. I mean, that can take at least a half hour. And that's time I could be otherwise spending working on dolls. So yeah, frustration number 1 is excessive and inappropriate requests for communication. The second frustration I think I've encountered relatively frequently is requests for incredibly specific style work. Now again, I know I started this video by explaining, what custom orders mean to me and that I do like my clients to be able to really customize their orders. That's important to me, that they feel like they're getting the baby they want. But I have had, and again, not referring to any specific client because this has happened multiple times, people will send me a plethora of inspiration photos. Now, I love inspiration photos. I think it's great to have a feel for the general style they're looking for, but there's a huge difference between an inspiration photo and a I want it exactly like this photo. Now, if you talk to any Reborn artist, I'm sure they will tell you, if they're honest and reasonable, they will say that no one can recreate anyone's work, including their own. I have painted Twin A, for example, 8 times, and it's never exactly the same because we're not, it's not a machine manufactured doll, it's not a factory made doll. These are all handmade, hand painted, done slowly by people, and so everyone is going to be slightly different. I would never ever claim to be able to recreate any other artist's work, especially because every artist has a different style, different techniques, different mixed colors. They're always going to be different. Now, I can certainly use inspiration. For example, if I see someone sending me a lot of photos of a baby with a really subtle peaches and cream skin tone, not a lot of mottling, very rosy cheeks and lips, that gives me an inspiration for the type of skin tone they want. But I have had people, send me 7 photos of a hand and say, I want the hand just like this, or I want the eyebrows just like this. And that's frankly unrealistic. And I've had people get upset when I say, I can't do that. I'll use it as inspiration. I'll get as close as possible, but I don't want you to expect that it's going to be exact, because it won't be, because I'm not a machine. So yeah, that's another one. And that doesn't mean, again, people will say I want a freckle on the outer left thigh, and that's totally fine. I love when people want cute little specific details like that. But again, there's a difference between requesting a specific detail and telling me I want it done exactly like this, and I will be dissatisfied if it's not. So that's frustration number 2. Another frustration that I also feel I've encountered a lot, and in a variety of different ways, is people requesting extras. Now, I want to give you a few examples so you know what I mean, because I feel like it's been different every time. A request for extras can be extra items, extra things, extra hours of work, extra services without any, plan to pay anything additional for it. So a few examples. I have had people ask me can you please include an extra blank number of outfits in the box packing? And when I say I'd be glad to, you can pay an additional fee to increase the size of the layette, and I will happily shop for more. And their response will be something like, well, I've already paid so-and-so amount. That should be enough. Can't you just give it to me? And I find that so frustrating, because it's really demoralizing to feel like my time, my money spent isn't valued. I had a good friend of mine put it in a really great way, where she said, if you go to Target and you pick up a big thing of paper towels and you take it up to the register and you go to pay, and then you go, you know what, actually, I kind of want 2 more paper towels. Can you give those to me? Obviously, the person at the register will say, no, you can buy more paper towels, but these are the paper towels you got. This is what they cost, and that's what you get for this price. We've already predetermined that. And they say, well, I've paid enough for these paper towels. I should get more. Now, obviously, that's ridiculous. But when it comes to Reborn dolls and custom work, people don't seem to get that comparison. It's still work, it's still time, it's still money. And the sense of entitlement that you essentially deserve more for free just because you already paid a certain amount isn't fair. You know, it's fair to get what you paid for. It's not fair to ask for extra simply because you've already paid, X amount of dollars. And this has exhibited itself in several forms, not just in asking for extra items, but in asking for extra work. I've had people like, well, I'm going to go ahead and also send this, if you could go ahead and do that for me, since you'll already be doing this. I don't want to get too specific because, again, I don't want to ever hurt anyone's feelings or single anyone out. But the idea of like, well, you're already going to be doing it. Why is it so hard for you to do a little bit more? And I find that, again, really demoralizing to say, well, what you've paid for gets you this, because I've already figured out it takes me this amount of time, it costs me this much in supplies, so for the price we've already agreed to, this is what you get. And by saying, well, you're already doing it, can't you just do a little more, shows me that you don't find my time or my effort to be worth any value, that I shouldn't be allowed to charge what I find reasonable for my own time and work. And, that's really frustrating. And I feel before I have kind of bent to people's whim just because I am a people pleaser. I want my clients to be happy, of course, until I realized, I'm doing 500 extra things. I am spending, several extra hours per doll on these extra things that people have requested just because they want them, and I'm doing it because I want them to be happy, but I'm essentially offering up my time, my energy, my work for free, and that's not fair. So yeah, that's another thing. So asking for extras in terms of extra hours of work, extra items, extra services for no additional charge simply because they feel they are entitled to more because of what they've already paid for something we've pre-agreed to. That is a big Reborn artist frustration. So another thing I've encountered is people trying to make changes to an already agreed upon plan. And again, this kind of shows itself in several forms. I'll just give you one example. Whenever I set up an order with a client, we talk it all out, talk about what they want, I give them the quote, and once they're ready to move forward, I put together an order sheet that lays out the pricing, all the materials, the time frame, just a full agreement of what's going to be done, when their payments are due, etc., all that stuff. And they have to look it over and respond to it and then send their deposit, and that shows me that they agree to the terms and conditions. Now, I have had people do exactly that, agree to the terms and conditions, all set, ready to move forward, and then once we're already in the process, then they want to make changes to the plan. For example, they'll say, oh, well, I'm actually not able to finish making payments in X amount of weeks, so I'm going to have to do it, in 4 additional weeks. Just matter-of-factly like that, as if it's completely okay for them to change what we've agreed upon. And I've had, some people frustrated when I say, oh, I'm sorry, unfortunately I can't do that. This is what we agreed to. I need you to uphold your end of the agreement, and that's the only way we can continue to work together. And people will be frustrated, like, well, I can't do that, so you're just going to have to deal with it. And again, I feel in the past maybe I've been too much of a doormat and been like, okay, I understand extenuating circumstances. Sure, that's fine. And now I've learned, that it's completely acceptable for me to stick to my policies. There is nothing wrong with me asking people to stick to the agreement we've already come up with and both agreed to. So yeah, trying to change things we've agreed to after the fact as if that's perfectly acceptable and being upset if I don't comply. All right, I'm waiting for those neutralizing layers to flash off, and then I'm going to bake them. So I'm hands-free for a moment to talk. But another thought I had, this kind of goes back to the excessive requests for communication. Our requests for videos, progress photos, things like that. Now, I love sending progress photos. It's very important to me. As a Reborn artist, I want people to get to make sure that they like how the baby's coming along, that they can kind of see the progression. I enjoy that. That's important to me. And, I want I'll show someone a picture and say, what do you think of these eyebrows? Let me know if you like them or don't before I bake them on, so you have the choice. Again, in terms of the way I do custom orders, I like people to have a lot of choice. So that is normal for me. But I think because I have kind of set the standard that I do tend to send a lot of progress photos, I'll often get a bunch of messages going, can you send me a picture? Send me a picture of this. Send me a picture of that. I want to see this close up. I want to see that close up. And again, to some degree, I understand it. But it kind of goes back to that sort of like slave mentality of you do what I want when I want it because you're my artist and I demand it. And that's, very frustrating. Again, when people do that, I don't think they realize that they're taking away significant time from the actual work. And, if I say, oh, I'm already cleaned up, closed up for the day, or I'm not in my studio right now, I'll have people get upset. Like, well, can't you just take it out? Can't you just show me? And again, it's the idea of if you were at any regular job and a client contacted you saying, can you go back to the office and pull out that file so I can see it? You would be like, no, when I'm back in the office and I have the time, when I'm not doing the actual work and I have time to answer customer inquiries, I'll do it then. I also, too, as much as I want people to see progress photos, I don't want to get too controversial, but it's like, I don't feel that people are entitled to request for, I want a specific photo of this and the photo of this and do it in this lighting and da-da-da-da-da. You get what you get. When you agree to a custom order service, I tell you I will send you, as many progress photos as I can at certain times. It doesn't mean, you can demand certain progress photos at certain times, whenever you want, and be upset if I don't comply. I've also noticed too, and this has been a little bit more recent as I've put more time and effort into my YouTube channel. I like to do certain videos, such as detail videos, box packing videos, week in my Reborn studio videos, because they're fun. I enjoy doing them. I want to share them with you guys. Again, it's important to me. But I think people have, and not exclusively, but some people have started to assume that those videos are an included service that they are guaranteed to get. Now, I want to be clear that what I do on my YouTube channel and the services I offer as a Reborn artist are not connected in any way. You are not guaranteed to get a details video, box packing video, week in my Reborn studio video, changing video, feeding video, outing video of the doll that I made for you. That doesn't mean I won't do it. I enjoy doing it, and when I have the time, I would absolutely love to do those videos for every single doll, but that's not how life works, and it doesn't always happen that way. And I've had people be upset by that, of, well, why didn't you do a details video of my doll? And it's, because it's not part of the service. My YouTube channel is something I do for fun in my own time that, yes, is related to my Reborn business, but they're not directly connected. I've thought in the past, maybe if someone absolutely wants to have that, they can request it, and for an additional fee, I will set aside the time to make sure I do that for them. But I find it frustrating when people automatically assume that that's part of the included service, and that if I don't make a certain video with their custom Reborn, that I have done something wrong, or I have you know, tricked them out of something they thought they were going to get. It's not included. It's not part of the Reborn service. The Reborn service is creating, painting, assembling your beautiful reborn baby doll to your custom specifications. It doesn't include, you know, you're also going to get a video, and you're going to get a birth certificate, and you're going to get this, and you're going to get that. I lay out what my services include on Instagram, on Facebook. You know, when I start the process with the client, it's very clear. It includes the painting, brows, rooted lashes, that's all included. Assembly is included, waiting is included, Wonder Wafer is included, a layette of about 3 to 4 outfits with a specific set of accessories is included, diapers are included, magnetic pacifier, modified bottle, all that stuff. I like to include a lot. That's what's included, what's outlined. It doesn't say you're also going to get a details video, a box packing video, an outing video, a changing video, a week in my Reborn studio video. I don't know if I said birth certificate already. It doesn't include those things. It includes what I say it includes, and if you want more, you can request it. I can't guarantee I'll do it. If you really, really want it, perhaps I will agree to do it for a certain fee. Let me know what you guys think about that, because I don't ever want to do anything that I feel is unfair. I don't ever want to feel like, you know, oh, let me charge for this extra thing and that extra thing. I don't like doing that. But I can't think of a good way to kind of break that cycle of, sorry, this isn't included. Here's a way I can include it if you really, really want. Let me know your suggestions. I'd really love to know. So yeah, I don't want this to just turn into a big, long gripe session. Again, I can't say enough how grateful I am to each and every one of my clients. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing if it wasn't for them. So, of course, I love them. I'm grateful. This is just a collective, you know, year and a half of things I've encountered multiple times, and therefore have kind of become a noticeable trend that I need to find a way to make changes to. So I guess that's really the whole point of this video. I'd love your feedback on kind of what do I do from here, because all of these things as a collective whole have really made me consider no longer doing customs at all, because the frustration I've encountered, the pressure, the level of demand from some customers has, you know, made me really anxious, really upset, really frustrating, and that's sad. You know, this is a joyful hobby, and I don't want it to become something incredibly stressful and pressure-filled. So what do you think? I mean, do I stop doing customs? I don't really like that idea, because there is a lot of joy in custom orders. I mean, for me, there's nothing more gratifying than when a client gets a doll I've custom made for them and I get a message or a comment about how much they love them. I mean, that brings me so much joy. So I don't want to stop doing them completely, but I have thought, you know, maybe I'll just do make to sells, and hopefully people will love the make to sells just as much as they love their customs. Or maybe I'll do really limited selection with my custom orders where they can only pick basic skin tone, hair color, and eye color, and then the rest is up to me. But I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I want people to be able to customize their babies. I guess what I'm kind of leaning towards right now is maybe just doing fewer customs and being, I guess, more selective about which custom orders I take. And that's hard to say, because I don't want to sound like I'm being selective of certain people, but I guess I just mean in terms of, you know, when a client inquires, you can kind of tell from the get-go if they're being really demanding and want you to do an exact copy, or have, you know, 5 million questions from the get-go, and maybe just kind of rely on my intuition more to be selective about which custom orders I will and will not take. And then I guess let me know what you guys think about this, and if you have any suggestions or how to best go about doing this, is kind of creating a client and artist process guidelines or something like that, where I do kind of lay these things out of like, allow 24 hours to answer questions, demands for, where are you? Answer me now. Those will be ignored. Please no more than, I don't know, 3-4 questions a week. Just a way to kind of lay out guidelines that I won't in any way offer copies, that inspiration photos are acceptable, but I will not be responsive to people saying, do a specific thing this exact way. Let me know what you think about that. Does that seem fair? Does that seem reasonable? Letting people know that they will get as many progress photos as I'm able to send, and that's it. That if they want extra things like multiple progress photos every time I sit down to paint, if they want a box packing video, should they have to pay extra for that? That no demands for extra items or services after agreement will be tolerated. The list goes on, and so I don't want to be mean, or I don't want to be exclusive. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but at the same time, I've been learning, and I continue to learn, that it's acceptable for me to have boundaries and to maintain them, that I'm not doing anything wrong or harmful by doing that. It's just something that's really been on my mind again for a while, but sort of kind of building to something a bit bigger more recently. So I guess I'll leave it there. I know this video is getting long-winded. If you watched it all the way through, I appreciate your patience and your dedication to listen to me and hear me out, and leave comments and suggestions down below, because I would really appreciate it. I'd love feedback from you guys. But anyway, guys, that's it. Lori is cooling over there. I'm probably going to do a couple other layers of flush wash. I am hoping to do a week in my Reborn studio video of these babies, so please stick around, look for that video. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.